Hello everybody, Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today I'm bringing you a deck centered around Aerodactyl from Fates Collide. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and maybe subscribe. It helps us out a lot and lets us do more for you guys. Now, like I said, this deck is centered around Aerodactyl from Fates Collide, and this card really has a ton going for him. I mean, apart from the whole restored Pokemon, which is very hard to deal with in general, Aerodactyl is a pretty great Pokemon apart from the restored thing. 120 HP, so solid. I mean, it doesn't hit the magic 110 number that a lot of things are trying to hit nowadays. It has Jet Draft, which 120 for 2, I mean, straight up, that would actually just be a good attack. I mean, 120 damage for just 2 energy and a double colorless at that. That is great, but it has the added effect of discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And also free treat. I mean, Aerodactyl is just such a great Pokemon that I wish it had a little bit more viability. However, when Fates Collide came out and I saw that card, I was immediately looking for a partner to go with it to make it work a little bit better so that I wouldn't have to use Old Amber, and I was rewarded with Omastar with the Restoring Beam. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a restored Pokemon and put it onto your bench and shuffle your deck afterward. I mean, that is great. That's just a, hey, here's a free Aerodactyl, throwing it right on the bench. And only problem with Omastar is it is also evolved from a restored Pokemon, but it is the water type, which means I can use Archie's, and immediately I started trying to build a deck around Archie's Omastar with Aerodactyl. And I mean, I'll get into a little bit of the combinations later, but I think I'll just start with the Pokemon and get to the combinations of cards that make this deck work as I go. I'm running 2 Shaymin. I don't need to explain this because Shaymin is Shaymin, and he actually has the magic 110 that I was talking about. So, I mean, a lot of things are trying to hit for 110 to knock out Shaymin, and Aerodactyl is just 10 above that, which actually can make a solid difference at times. Running 4 Unknown, because, I mean, Unknown in itself is great with Archie's just because you can play it down and then potentially draw a card later if you need. But I was trying to look for something that would make this deck a little bit more consistent, as I wasn't having much success with certain cards. And so I went back to old YouTubers, looked up their old Archie's videos like Archie's Empoleon, Archie's Greninja, and stuff like that. And I came across the combination of Unknown and Reserved Ticket. Now, Reserved Ticket, this is actually the first time I'm ever using this card, I think, in any deck. Flip a coin, if heads, search your deck for a card, and then put the card on top after you shuffle your deck. That has incredible synergy with Unknown because it's a free computer search, and we all know how valuable computer search is. I mean, it was an A spec that you can only run a single copy of, and you even had to discard 2 cards in order to be able to use it. Reserve Ticket, if you flip heads in conjunction with Unknown, is a free computer search. I mean, that's just so great for getting Archies and being able to get stuff in order to get Archies. I mean, it's just so good, and I will sing the praises of this. But that being said, I don't think it is very competitive at all. But this is a gimmick deck, so you know what? Let's try to make it as gimmicky as possible. I mean, why not, right? And then you also have 2 copies of Omastar Break because of the Dangerous Tentacles, which are amazing. Because, I mean, it's basically a free Lysander on Pokemon EX, and you know that Pokemon that everybody's kind of playing in every single deck that has less than 120 HP and is an EX? Oh, that's right. You mean Shaymin? Well, with Omastar and Aerodactyl, you can just Lysander that thing for free while still having your supporter for the turn, and then Aerodactyl can just knock it out with a Jet Sonic. I mean, that's just such a great combination that I wish these cards weren't restored, because then they'd be a lot more fun to play and a lot more competitive in my opinion. Now, as for the attacker that is not Aerodactyl, but I mean, is something that you kind of want to use in this deck just because, I mean, you'll either be starting with an Unknown or a Shaymin 90% of the time, and you want to have something active that isn't one of those guys so you can use their abilities. I decided on Seismitoad, and actually having Seismitoad active and attacking while you set up has helped me so much because it just locks your opponent down. I mean, I know it has that nasty 3 retreat cost, but I am running a couple, well, 1 Floatstone in this deck. I'm running a couple switch cards. Seismitoad is just so great for slowing your opponent down because, I mean, like I said, this deck is kind of slow-ish. I mean, you can potentially get a turn 1 Aerodactyl and be attacking with it, but more often than not, you're going to need a turn or 2 in order to be able to set up fully, and Seismitoad's Quaking Punch is perfect for that. It functions on the DCE, which we are running anyway, and I mean, just says, hey, slow down a little bit, let me set up, and then we can play. So that is why I'm running a single copy of Seismitoad in this deck. For Acrobike, just because, I mean, with Archies, you want to be able to run through your deck as quickly as possible. Acrobike is great for just looking at 2 cards and be like, I want that one. 3 Battle Compressor, just streamlining everything. I mean, gets the Omastar and the Archies in the discard pile to be able to, I mean, Archies later, and then VS Seeker and stuff like that. 1/1 of Escape Rope and Switch, just because I love that line, I'm very comfortable with it, and Escape Rope acts as as a makeshift Lysander. Puzzle of Time has, if you have 2 of them in your hand, can actually have pretty cool synergy with Battle Compressor, because you can Battle Compressor away things that you want, and then play 2 copies of Puzzles of Time just to, you know, get those out. And they also, single copies have great synergy with Unknown, because you can look at the top 3 cards and figure out which one you want. I'm also running the reserve ticket, like I said, because of the synergy with Unknown. It's just a great combination for this type of deck. 1 Super Rod to get everything back in case I overextend myself a little bit and have to discard too many Aerodactyls before I'm able to get an Omastar out. 1 Town Map, just to be able to get into my prizes, see what all's there. And it's also just kind of a useful item to be like, oh, I need to play another item down. Well, just play down Town Map. It's useful for looking at your prizes and also for thinning out your hand. 4 Trainer's Mail for the consistency, and I mean, again, just playing a card that you could potentially just be like, I play Trainer's Mail, I don't want to get anything from it, and I can then play Archies. 4 Ultra Ball, that's really the only means of searching we have in this deck, and really you only need to Ultra Ball for like Shaman and Unknown and potentially like Seismitoad and what is that thing? Omastar Break, because Aerodactyl is searched out of the deck with Omastar, and Omastar is brought out of the discard pile with Archie, so really you only need a couple search options in this deck, and more often than not, I actually don't use all of my Ultra Ball. I end up discarding a couple of them with different things. 4 VS Seeker to reuse all of our supporters. I mean, I like 4, it adds consistency. 2 Archies, because this is the main card that will make this deck work. Play it when it's the last card in your hand. That's why we have all those different things to get down to a hand size of 1, and then put the Omastar on the bench and begin searching out Aerodactyl. So Archie is going to be the card you want to use 99% of the time when you're playing your supporter. And then we are running 1/1/1 of Lysander and in Sycamore, just because these cards are a little too good to pass up on completely. 1 Floatstone, just for like Omastar or Seismitoad or whatever you want to play it on. Aerodactyl has free treat, you don't want to play it on that. 2 Muscle Band in order to hit for 140 damage potentially, and even with Seismitoad to hit for 50. 4 DCE, because this thing runs on it and this thing does too. And then 2 regular Water Energy, just in case we run up in a match where our opponent denies us our special energy, or we can't attack with it like against an Aegislash, or they deny it like the Giratina. So, you know what? This is a very, very fun deck, and I'm done rambling, so let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Hermes Doctor. Oh, that's kind of cool. I was looking at it, I was like, Hermes Dur? That doesn't make sense, but Hermes Doctor, and it's a Psychic deck. Oh, please tell me we can get a go first. Oh, we don't get a go first. Trevenant might be able to lock us turn 1, and that will just, oh wait, what? We get to go first? That's interesting. But yeah, this deck does mulligan quite a bit just because you have the whole, oh yeah, I only run like 7 basic Pokemon in total, and of those 7, 6 of them you don't want to start with. But I mean, that's just kind of what you have to put up with this deck. I mean, you could run a couple more Seismitoads, but I only like running 1 just because that gives you more room for other cards to be able to put in your deck. And wow, we actually start with the Seismitoad. That is really phenomenal for us, and I think, you know what, we're going to get a turn 1 Archies. That's fantastic. What I can do is just immediately Battle Compressor, get rid of, let's see, I'm going to get rid of Omastars, both of them, because they do nothing for this deck at all when they're in the deck. And then in Archies to be able to get it with VS Seeker, and whew, glad I ran 2 because one of them is prized. But you know what, we have enough cards that we can actually do this. I think I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Switch and the other Ultra Ball. Like I said, you don't need Ultra Ball that much. I'm going to save the reserve ticket just because, I mean, you know what, it could help sometimes. Let's go ahead and play the Unknown down there, play the Muscle Band onto the Seismitoad, and go for the reserve ticket to get 1 card in our hand. We get Tails, not a big deal. You know why? Because we are immediately getting an Archies and going to be able to get an Aerodactyl turn 1, get that Omastar out here, be able to draw another card with the unknown, and oh, we even get a DCE for it too. Let's just go ahead and Restoring Beam. Actually, wait, the Aerodactyl in our hand is bad. Ugh, I don't like the Aerodactyl in my hand. I wish there was a way to shuffle it back, but we might have to look for N at this point. Let's Trainer's Mail, see what else we can get. Unfortunately, I had to get rid of the switch, so I'm going to be digging for an Escape Rope, most likely, to put onto the Seismitoad. And actually, Seismitoad can one-shot the opposing Zubat next turn. I get the reserve ticket. I'm going to try to get... not sure yet. Let's go for... Oh, get the N. That way I can put it back into my deck with Aerodactyl. And then reserve ticket. See if I get heads. Nope, I don't. Unfortunate, but let's go ahead and put the DCE onto Seismitoad. Yeah. And then I think end the turn. Yeah, I don't need to unknown this turn. I can wait till next turn, wait till I get a reserve ticket. And yeah, I'm just in such a great position turn one. I'll be able to knock out a Zubat with a Quaking Punch even. So that is great. And no, please don't lose connection. I'm actually have a great setup and I don't want to lose. Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. False alarm, people. I'm sorry. But yeah, what I can do next turn is get an Omastar break and then get some more cards, get another Aerodactyl down, and wow, we're just in such a good position right now. I mean, I've had this kind of start with the deck a couple times, although usually the Seismitoad is a Shaman or an unknown, something that you don't want in the active spot. And my opponent gets a Lysander. What I can do is look for the Float Stone somehow, try to dig for it a little bit, but I will be able to knock out this Zubat next turn, which is pretty phenomenal that I'll be able to take a knockout with Quaking Punch. I mean, get another turn to set up more stuff and get more Aerodactyls out and stuff like that. And Muscle-Banded Aerodactyl is actually able to OHKO a Crobat, and okay, my opponent just ends. I'm completely fine with that. I was going to end next turn anyway. I mean, I lose the Omastar break, but it's not a big deal because, okay, I get it right back. That is great. Okay, this is an Alakazam deck. Got it. And my opponent plays these Shamans, so you know what we're going to look for? We are going to look for that nice little Jet Sonic with our Aerodactyl onto the Shaman in combination with the Omastar break. So let's go ahead and play the Unknown down, play the Town Map. Let's see, what do I have in my discard pile? I don't have any supporters that I can VS Seeker, so you know what I think I'm going to do? Just go ahead and first Restoring Beam, get another Aerodactyl out, and then I think just Farewell Letter. Maybe, or actually, you know what, let's rearrange the top 3 cards of my deck first. Oh, I even get an Escape Rope. Let's get the Acrobike first, and then the Escape Rope and the VS Seeker. What I can do is actually just Farewell Letter, grab that Acrobike, and then I think, probably Acrobike for the Escape Rope. No, I'll just Farewell Letter, maybe no. I'm trying to decide order. What's the best way to do this? You know what, let's just play the Shaman down, draw those 3 cards, and then Acrobike further, see what else I can get. Okay, get a Trainer's Mail as well. Let's go ahead and see what else we can get. We need a DCE and a Switch. Get an N. That is actually pretty great. I actually think I kind of want to take the KO on the Zubat this turn, so for the time being, I'm just going to play the N and then get some more cards, and oh, we're in such a good position because I can slap a Muscle Band onto an Aerodactyl, Battle Compressor, some stuff away, Farewell Letter, see if I can get a DCE or something, or I just get another unknown. I mean, that is fine too. I'll be able to take a KO this turn either way, and I think I'm just going to save the VS Seeker for the, well, not the VS Seeker, the Jet Sonic onto the Shaman for later, and we just take a knockout with Quaking Punch, and you know what? We can just grab a DCE right here to put onto our Aerodactyl and just, ooh, we can even Lysander that thing in if we need to, but we don't need to at all because of our Omastar breaks Dangerous Tentacles, and I could even Lysander in a Zubat to knock it out with a Quaking Punch, and my opponent just concedes. Oh, I kind of wanted to play this out a little more, at least to be able to Jet Sonic that Shaman, but you know what? I mean, that is just fine. We still won. You saw this deck, how it works, and even the Seismitoad, the single Seismitoad tech that I put into this deck came through in this match, and you know what? That wasn't good enough. I'm going to go see if I can try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another against Crazy Angel BR, and you know what, it's a fighting deck, so Aerodactyl will even have slight type advantage in this one as well. I'm kind of hoping that we get as good a start as we did last time. I mean, we couldn't get much better. We do win the coin flip, so that is great. We will get to go first, and can I start with... Okay, I start with an unknown, and this is not... I think I'll be able to get a turn 1... Will I be able to get a turn 1 Archies? Maybe. Yeah, I will, because I can Ultra Ball, get rid of both Aerodactyls, Battle Compressor away my Omastar, and, well, both Omastar, and then I can switch my Unknown into my Seismitoad, and then Archies to get out an Omastar. So I think I will actually be able to get... Actually, you know what? I will be able to get a turn 1 Omastar and Archie's Omastar again, and an Aerodactyl as well. I will need to get that little, I will need to get the Super Rod later, because that is very, very, very important in this deck. Good to see that it isn't prized, because that would be very unfortunate. I'm just going to get rid of 2 Omastar, and then, what else do I want to get rid of? Maybe the other Archies? I don't know. I think I kind of want to get rid of another supporter, perhaps. Yeah, let's just get rid of the Sycamore. I will already have the Omastar on the bench, so it really doesn't matter that much. I'm going to get rid of both of the Aerodactyl to grab the Seismitoad right there. Then I can switch into it with my Unknown, play down the Puzzle of Time to get some... let's see, what do I want to get? It doesn't really matter, because I'm going to be drawing these cards anyway. But I just wanted to see what I would get. We get another Aerodactyl, so Omastar cannot bring it out. Ugh, that's gross. And then I'm just going to Archies. And then bring out that Omastar to be able to bring out some Aerodactyl and draw 5 cards. Let's see if I can get the Super Rod. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and get an Aerodactyl out first. Yes, there is one in the deck. Good. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and... Reserved letter. Oh, we get heads, so I can get that Super Rod to put some Aerodactyl back in the deck too, and I can even Ultra Ball away the Acrobike and the other Aerodactyl to be able to put all 3 back into the deck. So that is great. And what I think I'm gonna do, yeah, get rid of the Aerodactyl, and you know what? I have another Omastar in the deck anyway. The Acrobike can be helpful for searching for DCEs. Let's go ahead and Super Rod, get all 3 of those lovely Aerodactyl back into the deck to be able to get them later with Omastar as well, and then play down the Shaman to get 5 cards. Hopefully not an Aerodactyl, but hopefully a DCE. Get a Trainer's Mail. Oh, there's an Aerodactyl. That's gross, but I actually will be able to get a Floatstone onto the Seismitoad too. Let's see. Do I want to grab either of those? Nah, not really. Let's go ahead and Acrobike. Get a town map. Oh, getting rid of another Aerodactyl too. That is gross. I mean, I'll end up with with 2 Aerodactyl in the discard pile anyway. But, I mean, you know what? I could have had a much worse start. What I can do next turn is throw the Floatstone onto the Seismitoad, Sycamore to get some more cards. I mean... I kind of wish I Battle Compressored the end at this point, that way I could put Aerodactyl back into my deck, but Sycamore was the better choice because of guaranteed consistency and whatnot. And okay, my opponent brings out a Lucario and puts a Muscle Band onto that Carbink, Karinas, so you know what, we had another great start. And okay, Gibble. This is fine because Aerodactyl takes, what does it take? I think it takes 2 strong energy and a Muscle Band in order to be knocked out by Bite Off from Garchomp. So I think I actually do have the advantage despite having 2 EX Pokemon, and it looks like my opponent runs Town Map as well. That's kind of cool. Usually you don't see that in those type of decks. Only 1 DCE is prized. That is just fine. Let's go ahead and play maybe the Unknown down. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and Restoring Beam, get another Aerodactyl out, and then potentially, what do I want to do? Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball, get rid of the Aerodactyl and the Unknown. Unfortunately, that makes me cry. Maybe I can get them back with 2 Puzzles of Time that I have left. Grab the Omastar Break to get that guy out there go ahead and play the Floatstone onto the Seismitoad. And while I could Archies again, I mean, that's how good this deck is. Even with when you don't need Archies, you could potentially get another Archies. But I'll just Sycamore, hopefully get a DCE. I get a Muscle Band. Oh, but I do get an Unknown and Reserved Letter, which could potentially net me the DCE if I needed it. So let's go ahead and Reserve Letter. Oh, we get it so I can get that very precious DCE, be able to switch out into my Aerodactyl, Farewell Letter, grab that, put the Muscle Band onto the Aerodactyl, and oh, this is just so beautiful. Oh, it's such a great start, and I can even, like, Trainer's Mail, get some more stuff, and oh, that's just so gorgeous. Trainer's Mail, see what else I can get. Get another reserve ticket. I mean, I could get another card on top of my deck if I wanted. Let's Trainer's Mail again, see what else there is. Get a Puzzle of Time, so I can probably Trainer's Mail to try to get another Puzzle of Time, potentially. But do I want a Jet Sonic yet? Nah, I'm going to play it out a little more. Going to grab another Muscle Band for another Aerodactyl, and oh, my opponent just concedes. No, I wanted to be able to Jet Sonic. Oh, that's frustrating, but, I mean, that was just such a great start. I mean, this deck is surprisingly consistent for what it is. Is it competitive? I do not think so, but it sure is fun. I mean, it really is awesome to be able to use restored Pokemon in actually a half-viable manner, so I really hope you guys enjoyed the deck. I know I did. Please leave a like if you did enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.